I'm gonna go on our page and pull the episode up.
Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of the GhettoRig podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Eddie. To my left, we have my co-host Jay, and we have Miggy behind the cameras, controlling all the stuff.
No hat today.
So, thank you guys for joining us. Quick mention of our sponsors. What's up, Miggy?
Oh, he put the claps.
Oh.
It's working today.
Quick mention of our sponsors: UFC Gym Largo and Pinellas Park and Vitality Wellness Centers. Go check those things out. Links in the description. And we'll get started today, guys.
I got two things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of talk about JFK. Remember?
Yeah, that was actually gonna be my first question. Do we have an update on any of the stuff from JFK?
No, not really.
It's shit update.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shit update.
What have they got? I mean, isn't there
Nothing.
like another set of
It's
files?
80,000 pages.
Yeah,
bro.
I thought it was more than that. It was 100,000.
It's some crazy. It's a crazy number, but
Or they released 80,000, but I think they said they were gonna release like another 100 or something.
yeah. So basically, the running idea. Remember, I was telling you about the Jewish conspiracy behind the JFK. So basically, this is how it goes. Israelis, they're blaming Israelis for killing JFK to protect their nuclear program. Israelis killed RFK because he was.
Repeat what you said? I couldn't understand anything.
So the running conspiracy is that Israelis killed JFK, meaning Mossad killed JFK.
The whole nuclear crisis thing?
Yeah, basically because they're trying to protect their nuclear program,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that whole comes in them stealing uranium and they're making their own nuclear weapons, whatever, blah blah blah. And then also they're blaming Israelis killing RFK, not the junior, not the one currently, but the dad, which is brother, killing the brother because he was snooping around and never trusted the Warren Commission, and tried to make them register under FARA, right? David Ferry and Jack Valenti were the shooters. So basically, they're saying that Jack Valenti and David Ferry were the actual shooters, not
Lee Harvey Oswald.
not Lee Harvey Oswald. But so far from all those documents, them like going through it, they're saying that they're not even mentioning CIA. So I wonder whether it's just like this is what happened. Is like they really know what happened, but they gave so much information to sift through. Who's gonna sit through it and sift hundreds and thousands of pages?
Guys.
Huh?
It's only been 2 days.
That's true.
Like you can't.
Without
so much
yeah,
shit.
without any sort of artificial intelligence sifting through that is
we can't even say that. It's like we cannot rely on artificial intelligence.
we can't.
It's way too early. So
Correct.
We can't stop relying on artificial
Correct.
intelligence. We need to figure this out. You got to figure it
The
out. on your
answer
own.
might be in those documents, but good luck trying to find and then connecting the dots because it's not going to be on one page just saying what it is. It's going to be different pages that you're going to have to combine together and get an idea what's going on, which
No.
I think an average person is going to have a very, very hard time doing.
Now I did hear this very. It's a good point that the reason why the FBI and CIA didn't want to release these documents is because a lot of it is just useless information that just informs on how procedures and certain things are done in CIA and FBI. So this is letting the world know and other organizations in the world like how the CIA and
Yeah,
FBI
but this was
operates.
also over 30,
It's for national
40 years
security.
ago. Also.
Correct. Mhm.
Like the procedures definitely have changed.
But then remember, government is very fucking lazy. Once they find something that works, they're very, very stubborn to change it. You
Yeah.
know? Now this,
But
war,
I'm saying
war
like
on
methods
terror.
of investigation and stuff like that. That's definitely gonna change and revolve.
I don't know necessarily. I can't say that. I don't disagree or agree with that statement. Could be not. But what I'm trying to say is like, it is a question of national security. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's a question of national security, number one, and number two.
Because again, it shows where we have spies, how they operate in those areas. And again, they may not operate that way anymore, but like you don't change the way you do your full routine. Excuse me, but there's some parts of your routine that do change over the years.
Yeah, because war
And
on
the
terror.
basic foundation of how things are.
Yeah.
That doesn't really change. That's still.
Exactly. So I don't know. I really don't know whether I really want to know who actually killed JFK. Even if it's Israelis, what are you gonna do? Like okay, they found out it's not Israelis. Like kind of like with Japan, right?
Again,
Schultz was on PBD today.
You're
He said some
stuck on
funny
this,
shit.
You're stuck on this Israeli conspiracy theory, but it's one of the least likely conspiracies.
Well, I don't think it's just one. I think there's like many things, and I think
There,
each one of them has a little bit of truth in it. You know.
there's so
Volume
many.
up, please. He says, Eddie.
The volumes haven't changed. Volumes are the same.
Yeah, everything is the same.
Let me see this. Talk, boys. I'm gonna pull this up.
You can. It's delayed. You should be able to hear.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're good.
it's fun. Bring up that volume.
Yeah. So even let's just say that happened. Let's say Israelis were involved in it. Let's say this has to do with the nuclear program. And Schultz was on PBD podcast and he said some funny shit today. He goes kind of like, look at Japan. Yeah, we go there and eat some sushi. He goes, what do Israelis have? At least Japanese have some sushi. You know what I mean? They're not friends, but at least Japanese have some sushi. You know what I mean? That's why we go there. He was being funny about it, but he's kind of correct, right? Like, okay, so let's say we become not friends with the Israelis. What's going to happen? You know what I mean? They're going to get destroyed immediately. Like, they're literally going to get chopped up.
If that is the case, it's something the United States already knew. So what's the difference to like the government?
Well, no, because if they come out and say that Israelis were involved, now Israelis no longer friends, right? But Israelis hold a very strategic point right in the middle of all the Muslim countries, all the radical Muslim countries at that. They're like dead smack in the middle of everything, right? And we do work with them very closely with Mossad and all, you know, by exchanging information.
What I'm trying to say is, you think that if the government comes out and says, oh, the with these files and stuff that Israelis are involved, that's going to change our relationship with the Israelis?
Correct. He has to. He has to. All the aid, everything's got to stop immediately. Like all the Israeli APACs no longer going to be present in the United States.
You
like
saying that because the government's going to make that decision on their own, or because the people are going to?
Because of the people going to ask for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because of the people going to ask for it. Can you imagine, like, they killed the president of the United States? What do you think people are going to be happy about that?
No, I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? There's going to be repercussions, and you know, like, is that worth losing an ally that's within the Middle East? Like I hate to say it, even if they did it, but they're the most, hate to say it this way, civilized ones amongst those people that are around them. Because over there, they're still fucking just chopping heads and fucking chopping arms and heads off, right? Like, women are still second-class citizens to the point where, you know, there's no rights of anyone. You know what I mean? It's very wild, wild westish over there. So, I don't know if I want to know the truth. You know what I mean? Because I might feel one way or another way. You know what I mean? I don't want that.
I don't really think it's going to change much, brother. It's been so many years, and you already have a very established opinion of what the government is and what it can do. And I don't think just releasing that's going to change. Just like a presidential election doesn't really affect you at all.
Well, but see, that's what we thought. And look at the results of presidential election. Majority of country voted conservative. Whether they liked Trump or didn't, they went that route.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Again,
there's a public shift
these people
of sentiment.
But these people have already made up their minds.
In which sense?
Voting wise, like they were not going to stand for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was not voted really into office. Like, she was just put there.
No, that's true. But I don't think people did because of that. I don't think people, because you remember, damn near 70% voted Republican, bro. Like, we're dead smack right down the middle when it comes to like voting one way or another way.
It's a fucking.
That means Democrats went in and voted Republican. Like, actual Democrats voted Republican.
Yeah, it's an actual landslide.
Yeah, so what that means that there's a cultural sentiment shift towards Republican, and we thought this is not going to happen. You know what I mean? And it did happen. So, like, look at the BLM movements and things like that. Like, several cities got destroyed. You know, whether that was for a good cause or a bad cause, whether it was justified or unjustified, that happened, right? Like, people's emotions get involved, right? And I like to think that people are logical, but it looks like no, people are more emotional than they're logical. You know what I mean? My feelings are more important than the logic of things, right? So, and you can't run the government on feelings. You got to run it on logic. You can't allow people to fucking go out there and do whatever the fuck they want, you know, because then it would be anarchy. Then nobody wins. So, I don't know, man.
So what were you saying to me about Texas right now having like crazy
Oh
winds
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff?
Texas. Well, that was last week. They were having crazy winds, and it was like flipping cars over and stuff. So last week when we were getting all these winds in, beginning of this week and last week, it was because
I
of
mean, the
that wind.
winds are nasty today too.
Yeah, winds are pretty bad today, but yeah, powerful winds flip trucks over. Yeah, look at that.
Damn.
Yeah, this was like an actual thing in Texas.
Oh shit! I can't imagine.
First time,
Damn.
first time in years this has happened.
What caused like these crazy winds?
No one knows. Them thing looks like Sahara, bro, with all the dust and shit.
Is that rain though, or just dust? Probably rain too.
Look at the cops and everything. These trucks are still going through. You know what I mean?
It's just a bunch of grass and dust and.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas is pretty fieldy. You know, there are
Yeah.
a lot of fields out there.
I don't know. But what was the second thing we were gonna talk? Oh, what were we gonna talk?
You
about?
said it. I
Yeah.
don't know. You didn't mention
It was
it.
JFK, and I forgot. I think. That'll come to
That
me.
movie that Arthur brought up about aliens, that shit's fucking awesome. I want to watch that movie.
What movie are you talking about? Which one is
Joe's, I
this?
couldn't even put my skirt on today. It was too windy.
What's it called again? SXWS Film Festival.
Bro, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that.
aliens?
For
Believe in what?
do you
I
mean?
don't. I believe in aliens, but I don't believe them being down
you're
here.
fucking rage baiting, bro. You're too smart for that bullshit.
Bro, I believe in them. I just don't believe that they're down here. Like, I do believe that these people are talking. They truly believe that they've seen something, but I
The
don't
Age
think
of
it's alien.
Disclosure.
Huh?
The Age of Disclosure.
Yeah.
That's the name of the movie. There's only a trailer, but it was only premiered in the whatever film festival, and it's not out anywhere.
So you can't watch it basically.
No, and it has like very high profile people, which is why they don't want to just release it, and they also want to kind of like hype up the film as well because they don't want to just. I couldn't even put on my skirt today, too windy. They don't want to like just put out the movie and lose a bunch of money, and just people lose interest. Kind of like some other documentaries that have already been filmed in the past about it.
But at the same time, you build hype and then you wait on it and it goes away and then you release and now it's all gone. The hype, you know what I mean? Like,
The reason why this movie is so important is because they've been sitting, apparently, this is the rumor, that they've been holding on to high resolution evidence about aliens that they display on there, and they've been doing this for, holding on to it for 2 years. And then that's how they came up with the movie.
okay.
With that footage, and then they started interviewing people.
Talking about movies, they just made a movie on Netflix that started a couple of years back, and they just released it. And apparently, Andrew Tate was the driving force behind them filming this movie. And it's about the young boys, how they get radicalized by red pill content creators.
What is this movie called?
It's on Netflix. Let me tell you right now. It's one of those. It's called Adolescence. Adolescence. Which, from the previews, I can tell you right away, it's horseshit. None of that is what they're portraying it completely. Yeah, they're. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, they're definitely putting it in a very, very like bad light. It's a definitely spin, like there's definitely be a biased thing. So anyway, I don't know. I didn't like this too much because if you're gonna talk about it, I feel like you should put something out that's non-biased, and this one was biased. But then again, it's a movie, right? So there's got to be a bias involved in that.
So what does this have to do with Andrew Tate?
So this is about apparently kids that get influenced by red pill content creators such as Andrew Tate and all the other ones, and how they get radicalized and basically start committing crimes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it because you know I like to know both sides and let me decide on this. Don't just give me your opinion about it and try to influence me the way I think about this.
The
And
edu-
especially releasing it on Netflix, you know what I mean?
the education department got cut.
Yeah, they did. They did get cut.
Whoa, what do you mean?
Yeah. He just released the
He said,
executive
"Whoa,
order
whoa,
to
whoa."
chop off the education department.
And now what?
I don't know.
What? So like federal funding to schools and stuff like that is gonna be done? Like what? How does that work?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, so no education.
Well, we didn't have one any to begin with. So.
No. I get it sucks, but it's there.
Yeah, but I mean, so
How do you
it
expect
needs a
the people to?
reform. It needs a reform.
Yeah, doesn't mean you fucking throw it away.
Well, it's not really thrown away. I'm sure they're doing it for clickbait, right? The things. There's more to it. I didn't read into it, but I did see that
Well, he signs it, but
it's still got to
it's
go.
still got to go through Congress.
Yeah.
But how did like what was it? What exactly did he sign? Like what does it say?
To dismantle it. So
It'll
what's
be
going on.
it'll be much smaller than it is today. Go down. Right there. It says the Department of Education will be much smaller than it is today.
What was his reasoning for this?
Probably the fucking bureaucracy under it, like the frivolous money spending, because it's not about the schools, man. It's about the people that are in charge that frivolously spend money. That's what it's about. So yeah, so ask ChatGPT, man. It'll digest it for us a little bit better.
I don't want to ask AI for these. These are kind of like
Yeah, cause see, like these, cause look at the top, like the name of the article. Just look at the name of the article.
Department of Education, Trump's attack.
Trump's attack on Department of Education explained. Like Trump's attack. So you already know this is a biased news source because they're saying Trump's attack. Like these words.
Well, they have to get.
They have to
They
get
have to get clicks.
correct.
And it is an attack because he's trying to fucking cut it. What do you mean?
It's not an attack. He's just trying to cut it, right? Whether it's
No,
good.
It's not an attack. I'm just trying to.
Well, no.
completely
Whether it's good or bad, it's up to you. Up to you to decide, right? Like as an individual, it's not.
I think most people would support education.
I think so too. I do agree with education, but what we have right now in our schools is fucking complete horseshit. Like most people don't support that. You know, like the frivolous spending that they have on a higher level is not
How
like
do you feel about that, Eddie?
the schools do suffer because of their frivolous spending.
I don't look at the title as being biased. I look at it as being clickbaity.
Yeah.
Using the word attack because it involves makes people emotional.
I'm talking about the
but I don't think it's
talking
biased.
about the education system. Yes, I understand what's taught and how it's taught fucking sucks. But it's not completely dog shit. Coming from a third world country where I don't have anything.
Well,
So
I came in with a third world country, and I've been to 2 different third world countries, and then one of them became better. And the education system was like 10 times better than it is here.
So I shouldn't. I don't think you should make that claim so loosely, Jay. You didn't go to the education system here for public school.
Well,
University is very different.
Don't forget, I went to a university.
No, and what did I just state? University is very different.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that the high school is better than university?
No. I'm not saying
Well,
anything's better than the other.
not saying
What
it's-
I just told you, Jay, is don't make that statement so loosely because the public education system, what the government handles, has nothing to do with universities most of the time.
What do you mean? The universities are public?
So they have public universities like the state universities.
Where I went to.
But those are still all money run by you paying. It's very, very different.
No, it's not by you paying. There's also still got to get donations. They also are supported by the state.
No,
That's why
I
they're
get
a
that.
state school.
But
I
you
get
pay-
that.
You
pay for your education. What I'm trying to say is because I went to a public school too for college. I went to community college.
Yeah.
Which is the most connected you're gonna probably get to the thing. It's very, very different. So with the education system here, I think our education system lacks a few things. So first, it's the system as itself and like the systematic way of like looking at it as like a production line for cars, like how cars were made before and how they're made now. The production line is completely different. Look at a classroom before and all the like curriculum 50, 60 years ago is the same shit they're teaching now in the same way. right?
Yeah.
Actually, they complicated it even more with math.
Well, I
Math is like stupid now the way they teach math.
Well,
And so it's not only the system, right, of like actually how it's all put together for the people to get involved and to go and like be the cogs and stuff like that.
the
It's
teachers-
not made well.
And the teachers are understanding of that. They do try and teach in different ways. Like at the beginning of the year, they'll be like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna be teaching this very different ways. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna draw it out. I'm gonna spell it out. I'm gonna, you know, they're understanding of people learning in different ways. But then they also tell you, but we do have to fit this in the curriculum. We're limited to this curriculum," and they tell the students too. Like,
but I think what has changed, what fundamentally has changed, back in the day, if you said you're a high school teacher or a middle school teacher or elementary school teacher, that held in a high regard. You were held in a high regard.
Why you say that?
It was because you had a status as a teacher. Now,
I don't believe that.
yes,
I do
teachers.
I understand that, especially in third world countries. That
Well,
they
no,
have-
third world countries I understand, but here nobody gives a fuck.
What do you mean? Nobody gave a fuck in 50s and 60s what the teacher is? Come on, man.
Back then, yes, when there was less
That's what I'm trying
when
to
there was
say.
less technology. they
Correct.
didn't
The
look
teachers were held
at,
in a
they
high
didn't look at
regard.
the teacher like, oh, it's just a teacher. I'm probably gonna be working at McDonald's and still gonna be making more
You,
than you.
you know how many people is anecdotal clearly
You also
I
have to
encountered
remember
that
back
became teachers straight out of whatever jobs they were doing, like, making ends meet while they were young, and then they became teachers, that they're like dumb as a box of rocks, and they're teaching like young children. Like, you yourself, you have no right of being a teacher. Like, no right. Because you are an idiot. You're a complete idiot, and you're teaching someone else. So idiots are going to teach idiots, right? They're going to raise idiots.
Remember, Eddie, back then you also had to have a degree to actually work
As a teacher.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Like
not many
master's
people-
degree,
not many
straight
people
master's
were
degree.
Doing degrees back then. Like, it slowly started becoming popular, but back then when you had a degree, it's like, oh shit, this guy knows something.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a professor.
You have to be subject matter expert to become a teacher. Right now, anyone can become a fucking teacher. Like, literally, I don't know what the state of Florida requirement is, but you can become a teacher with like a 2-year degree,
not
like
that-
with an
No, it's-
associate
you need
degree.
you need a 4-year.
For-
It's
yeah.
a 4-year
You-
degree.
If you,
But
you
the
can-
reason it's
you
like
can,
that-
substitute.
The
with a
reason it's like
2-year.
that because teachers don't get paid a lot, so they got to get more people in there. Who are you gonna get? Well, okay, well let's just dumb down the requirements, dump it down, so we can get people in. They're gonna come in and work at those low wages.
But
The problem is the pay.
I think the problem is that they think that they have this system down that maybe worked at a certain point in time,
Hmm.
but it doesn't work in today's
No, it does not.
world.
It
just
does
doesn't
not.
work.
Another thing,
Because when you expect people to have this process down and they don't do it right, and you can't even control that anymore. No.
another thing you brought up is what's another problem? You asked me what are the problems with the education system? Is that I mean they need to not only pay more but have higher requirements.
Higher requirements, and then also another thing is, teachers are not allowed to say shit to the kid. If the kid is misbehaving, they have to leave him and just be. They can't reprimand them. They can't really do anything.
What
And
do you mean?
like, as a teacher, like
Yeah, you can't smack the kid, but you can yell at him.
Yeah, but even yelling, students will turn around and cuss at you and fucking do whatever they say. Like, there was not
You can just
that
connect-
didn't exist back in the day.
So, in this U.S. school system, when that happens, when they get loud like that, you hear that from stories and Instagram stories and reels and all that. But when they get angsty, they'll just be like, all right, call an administrator, escort him out, take him to the principal's office. And you do that enough times, you're either going to get suspended from school or get kicked out of the school.
No, I understand what you're saying.
There's a system, and the system does work. The system is used. But if the kid is bad, the kid is bad, bro.
No, I understand that,
It
but
just starts at home.
I'm
When
not
it
saying that
comes-
those bad kids didn't exist back then. They also did, but the quantity of those not bad kids, but quantity of kids that are acting up has gone up significantly because there's no repercussions. There's no accountability set into the kids because kids don't respect the teachers.
But I don't blame that on the teacher.
No, it's not
That's
on the
parents'
teacher.
fault.
That's the parents' fault. Correct. I agree with that. And the whole education system does not enforce that because they know there's nothing they can do about it.
No, there isn't anything. they can do.
Yeah, and that's why, because the parents fucking grew up to be feral and they're raising feral children. That's really what it comes down to. The bottom, like, parents don't discipline their
Like
own
I
fucking
always
kids.
listen to my teachers for one reason and one reason only, because of my parents. Because if I didn't listen, they were gonna get hear about it, and I was gonna get my ass
It's
whooped.
funny.
Yeah.
I didn't have that issue. Even if I were to get in trouble, they had my mom's phone number from when we first got to the country, so it's like you're never gonna reach her. Good luck.
Yeah.
And they never bothered to change it. I never got in trouble. Why the fuck would I be a headache?
I don't know why, but for some reason at one point in time, you know how they had an automated system if you missed a class like that, when the teacher reported like their role or whatever for the period, it would automatically go into the system and the system would call the parent, and it would just be a robot saying, "Hey, your child missed this period and this period." It was set up on my house phone, and no one, and that shit had been like decommissioned for years. Like we still had the line, so it would ring and everything, but it was never plugged in.
Yeah.
So I never had to worry about that shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like things have changed, times have changed, but the schooling
hasn't
stays
changed.
same. And
That's my major problem.
like, can you pull up how much money do they making at the highest levels of like the education department, like salaries? Like head of education department.
So look up how much does the head of education of Pinellas County Schools make? God damn.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yo, that's not fucking fair, bro.
Of course it's not fair. Because regular teachers
That's
getting
not
40,
fucking
45,000,
fair,
and this motherfucker making 300,000, and this is their salary. And the reason it's like that is because they're bringing money, they're bringing donations, they're bringing constituents, this is why they're getting paid that. Like the entire system is upside down on its head because they're like, okay, you need to bring money. And these are the people that are bringing the money.
Imagine going around and talking to teachers and trying to hype them up and to
While
be
you're
good
getting paid
teachers, and you're
10
getting
times
paid
more. Literally 10 times
literally
more. Than
10 times more.
Yeah. And a $750 monthly car allowance, bro.
Car allowance.
They'll
Wow.
pay for your gas and your car.
Wow. How nice. To pay for his brand new Audi as well. Whatever the fuck.
And look at that. Annual contribution to retirement plan worth 10% of his base pay, which means $27,000 is the government literally puts in your fucking account. Right? Whatever $30,000 they put in your account, that's without you investing into your 403b. Like, just think about this for a fucking minute. You telling me this didn't need to be cut? Like,
he also has more than 30 years of experience in state education. Also received a state pension worth $7,555 a month or $90,660 a year. His pension was disclosed during private contract negotiations with the school board, but it was never mentioned in public meetings.
There you go. That you don't think that this needs to be cut? This needs to put a stop to it? You need to make examples out of these people. You need to put a fear of God in them so they understand that they're there to serve the people. This is the reason why you're there, to serve the people, not yourself. If you don't like that, then get a different job.
He's running a $1.2 billion operation, and just like a CEO who has to run and manage that operation, he should be fairly compensated, he said. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, no shit. $300,000, motherfucker. And all you had to do is be in the schooling system for 30 years and then somehow he gets chosen to be that person. How many teachers have been in the schooling system for 30 years? They're not that.
The thing is, I feel bad, dogging this guy, because my issue isn't really his number. It's the people under his numbers. Like, if you telling me this guy has 30 years of experience, right? And he's running a billion-dollar billion-dollar system,
budget,
right? And if he's doing that well and the people under him are getting compensated correctly, I'm not mad at him getting paid that. If they were getting compensated,
if they're doing their job, but clearly somebody's not doing their job.
Exactly.
You know what I
The
mean?
whole thing.
Somewhere the chain is broken. It's up to him to, if he's doing everything correctly, to put the fear of God and get it done. Yeah,
that's all his responsibility.
Why does okay? I hate to bring up Tesla as a company, but Tesla as a company runs, from my understanding, very well. Like, people might not complain, but it runs very well. The reason it runs very well is because he's literally involved in a daily activity. He'll go in there and say, cut these people. Like, they're not performing, get rid of him. You know what I mean? And that puts a fear of God in these people, and these people actually perform. They do a job that they're getting paid for. Like, you're not getting paid for it to sit on your ass because you deserve it, because you run a $1.2 billion. Like, that comes with responsibility. Like, with great power comes great responsibility. Peter Parker.
My thing is, too, is you can't even blame him.
No,
because he's not the one. Like at the end of the day, the state's coming to him and saying, "Hey, here's your budget."
correct.
Because it's still just Pinellas County, right? So he's got the state coming in and going, "Here's your
But that's
budget."
Pinellas County 1.2 billion.
Uh-huh.
What about the entire state?
Yeah, that's whoever runs the state. That's who you start to blame.
Even that motherfucker, when you start blaming him, but somebody's above him too,
Yeah,
right?
I get that, but their blame has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And even
it starts at the very fucking top.
It
Because you couldn't handle your shit.
But at the same time, what even if the guy at the very, very top is still being controlled by certain decisions? You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much that certain people can do. I think it's a collective thing that needs to happen.
I get it, but this is the thing. If you're taking up on a job, you have to understand that this job comes with duties. And certain of these duties going to come with these things. And you're going to put your name
I mean, a teacher, these guys are public servants.
Correct.
100%.
But the public servant that gets paid $300,000, bro.
Yeah.
$300,000. That's like a CEO pay in some companies.
Yeah.
And this is just a county, bro. We're not even talking about higher level than that.
Right.
And all of that is a political game. They all play politics there. They're not sitting there and worrying about fucking educating you while you're at high school.
They don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck. Yeah.
They're just trying out here to hustle some money, baby.
That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody's just trying to make that,
And there's a big issue.
Trying to get that
circling
nut.
back to what we were saying, like, what's wrong? Why are people, like, the wrong people teaching? It sucks because you know many people that would make great teachers, and if it was a good opportunity, they'd probably do it.
Yeah.
But they know that they're not going to make any money, so they won't do that.
Yeah, I would be one of those people. If I knew I can get paid what I'm getting paid right now, I'd damn sure make sure, like, I know my shit and go be a teacher.
Yeah.
Like, what else can you imagine what else would be more rewarding than bringing up a new generation of people that are not going to be fucking dumbasses, where you can go in there and co-sign and saying, yes, I make sure these kids are not dumbasses.
Isn't it weird how, like, there's certain teachers you never forget? Like,
because they're fucking good.
Yeah. The good teachers.
Yeah.
And the really, really bad ones you never forget.
Yeah. Like one of my teachers, even though the class was fucking boring as shit, but during the 3 months, I read more fucking books than my entire 30-some years all put together because of the teacher, right?
I learned to like history, like a little bit. I learned that year to like history a little bit just because I had a really good teacher when I was in middle school.
Yeah, there was this droopy eyes. He was teaching the humanities class. Old man would come in always with a bow tie. Spoke very, very slowly, looked like a bulldog. We called him a bulldog. But motherfucker was a wealth of knowledge. He was like 70-some years old, still teaching in college the humanities course. He didn't give a fuck about anything. He could have retired and be just fine, right? But he was still teaching humanities, and he was connecting things that you would never think about. Like he would connect religion to Hammurabi's laws and then go from there to that. Talk about David's statue and shit like that. Things like that. He knew this shit, right? And the reason he knew this shit is... Choke you out now, lol. Yeah. Yeah, bro, they called me the drill sergeant. So I'm gonna tell you a story here. Story time. So I was working for Bennigan's, and they selected me to go as one of the corporate trainers to train the new restaurant they're opening in Vineland, New Jersey. This little tiny, bumfuck Egypt little town, right? And that was the last one they did. 'Cause after that, corporate disband basically went bankrupt, right? So while I was there, they gave me a duty. They said this is what they need to learn. So I went in there and I was teaching, and some of these young girls were like laughing and like.
What is it that you were teaching?
I was teaching them how to be a good waiter.
Okay.
And they gave you cards, and I would just say a couple of good things, a couple of bad things that they need to work on, so on and so forth. And I would present what they need to be doing, right? Like whatever the topic for the day was. And these couple of girls were talking, laughing, and not really listening. I put them on a spot right then and there. I was like, is this how you're going to act when a customer comes in? And that's how you get fired. And everybody started calling me the drill sergeant because like I was like, bruh, you're not 1, 2, 3. We're going through this. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you don't like it. You don't like it, get the fuck out, right? They called me the drill sergeant, right? But
no fun, Jay.
But no fun. But guess what? That group of people, my subjects, they knew that shit. They knew that shit very fucking well. Everyone else's shit, they didn't give a fuck about. But mine, they knew.
I could never be a teacher. I feel like, So I forgot who it was the other day. I was explaining something to Rodolfo. Because Rodolfo just built a computer. The man just spent a bunch of money, and I helped him build a computer. We're actually still doing that. And I was explaining something to him because he made it a point to me that he wanted to make sure he learned. about the computer when he didn't want to just spend all this money have me build it and play games. He wanted to actually learn what he was putting his money into and what part does what and all this stuff. And I'm explaining a bunch of stuff to him, and he looks at me and goes, "Bro, you ever thought about being a teacher?" And I was like, "No, hell no, I could never teach kids." He goes, and I was like, "Why are you asking me that?" Like, and he goes, "You really sounds like you're enjoying this right now." And I was like, "Yeah, I like talking about stuff I like, but I don't think I could teach someone. I don't think I could ever be a teacher of a classroom of kids. I'd mollywhopped one of them so fast."
Well, you would.
So fast.
I don't think you would mollywop them. I think what would happen, you would put some.
No.
You would put somebody in place, like the bully of the class or somebody that's like out of place. You would put them in place, and the entire class would start listening to you because you got to earn your respect. Like
One
you
of them
do.
calls me fatty, I'm gonna fuck him up.
Well, you would fuck them up differently, right? Like, yeah, you would fuck them up differently, right? Like, even though we had this in high school, we had this ethics teacher, right? And we did not respect this lady at all. We would talk shit, laugh, fucking talk all kinds of shit.
Eddie would be like, "You think I'm fat? Give me 20 push-ups." "Oh, you can't do them." "Well, I can't either. That's why I don't fucking do them, bitch. That's why I'm fat."
Yeah.
Nah, see, like,
Fuck you.
I'm not witty and like smart assy when I get angry, and I feel I have sometimes very short fuse when like if the child is not my responsibility, no problem. I don't care. As long as like if it's my house, maybe a little different, whatever. But as long as I'm outside my house and the child's not my responsibility, I don't care. Scream their heads off. Child is my responsibility. Very short fuse.
Yeah.
Very, very short.
Well,
fuse.
I mean, no one's saying you don't have to accidentally trip and you push them and then
like the other day,
push them, they fall, they break their head, and then you pretend like they tripped. You
The
know what
other
I'm saying?
day
Like,
we were-
just
side story.
Hey.
You reminded me of this. We were at Emily's house the other day for a party, and there was like 4 little kids, 4 or 5 of them. And once one little kid's good, 2 they kind of chill out. But once there's like a whole little group of them, they start running all over the place and shit. And bro, there were so many times they were running through this area in Emily's backyard, and we're kind of like sitting, and bro, they would bump past you, and like you'd have to move your drink, and I was like, bro, I just want to trip one of them. And I said it like really mumbled, but everyone around me heard me, and it was funny because a bunch of their parents actually, and they all started laughing.
Yeah, because they know you just said what everybody was thinking about.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got like this is what happened. We did not respect this lady. Like we were talking shit. That was the easiest. We loved that class because we fucking talk all kinds of shit, right? Like we wouldn't learn nothing in that class. It just so happened that the class would be in a different classroom. It wasn't her classroom. It was this literature teacher's classroom, and everyone knew you don't fuck with this lady. And it just so happened that this lady was in a back, heard everything, came out and fucking like tore us a new asshole. After that, the entire class was like this, like sitting there and listening. The lazy Finnick, do y'all like Pokemon cards? I mean, it depends. I never got to play with Pokemon cards as a kid. I don't even know what the half of the stuff is.
Bro, I remember when I was a kid in elementary school, I traded probably over 25 cards. Can you guess what card I traded it for? This is the most like known fucking Pokemon.
Charizard.
Bingo.
You got a Charizard card?
Yeah.
And you fucking don't even know where it is
Fuck
right now?
no. Fuck no. But
This man is gonna literally unsubscribe right now.
I had like an original like Charizard. This is probably back in 2000.
Wait, you gave a Charizard or you took a Charizard?
I took a Charizard. I gave like 20 something cards, right? And I got a Charizard. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't 20 something cards, but it was definitely like over 10 cards that I traded for that one Charizard.
And you don't even know where it is.
Fuck no.
You could be sitting on like $300,000. You don't even know.
No, it wouldn't be worth that much. I mean, I don't know.
Should probably be like $50.
Yeah, I mean, I think it may be worth a little more than that. Let's see.
Yeah, some of those cards are worth money, bro.
I was early elementary school. This was gotta be. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. So we're looking at.
Guys, give us a like and subscribe, please. This doesn't help the algorithm. While Eddie's looking for his Charizard, while Eddie's looking for his gold that he's
look up
lost.
a 2008 Charizard. Damn, 250. No fucking way.
So it is not 200,000, I guess, huh?
No, you're looking at a PSA 10, which means perfect condition.
Yeah.
But
like
you were not keeping that shit perfect.
No. This shit was already like frayed up edges when I got it.
Okay.
Like this shit was
that
bad.
shit's 3 fucking dirty pennies.
Yeah. But PSA 10 meaning like fresh out the pack.
So
Like,
that's $10,000, $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Was it? don't know if
So
it
you
was
could be
one of-
sitting
I
on
think
$300.
the picture was different.
Ungraded 150, bro. You sitting on a 150.
Mhm.
Bro, you could be a millionaire right now. Damn, bro. Some Zards be going for 100K. A PSA 10 first edition charges around 100K. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
that's
we
first
just saw.
edition though. I don't know if was mine like that though. I feel like it didn't look like that. It might have, but go down.
Hey, the lazy fence. What's your best card that you currently have? Looks like you're into it.
I don't remember.
Put that in the chat. What you got? Like PSA half would go for around 3-5K.
Damn. Yeah, no, that card's long gone. I don't remember what I did with it. I might have gave it to like a little cousin or something as I got older, maybe. But, yeah, I did like Pokemon. I'm not a Pokemon nerd though. Like that's not something I know about. Like people start talking about like all the different I don't know anything. I didn't play the games. That's where I fucked up. Like I don't. That's where everyone knows all their knowledge is the games. I didn't play the games. Never played any of the games.
But I don't.
Except for Pokemon Go.
I don't know Pokemon like that either. It's like I know fucking Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Charizard, Blastoise.
I know.
Well, why
some.
Charizard? Why Charizard specifically?
Charizard's
He's
the
one of the
fucking
main
OG.
ones.
Yeah, he's like the Mac Daddy. He's, you know, I mean, are there Pokemon that have come out and like that can beat Charizard and all this shit? Yeah, but like when it comes to like the most famous one, yeah, it's Charizard probably.
Pikachu.
I mean, Pikachu, yes, but like the most famous strong Pokemon, Charizard.
I just feel like people like dragons and fire. So
Yeah, that's
easy-
another
it's
thing.
easy
He's the
pick.
dragon. But no,
No,
I
I
don't.
never-
I never
no,
really
I like
messed with.
Hearthstone. I don't like. I did a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was only as a kid where I have a dragon. You have a mummy. My dragon definitely burns your mummy. So.
No,
Alright,
I
so what does it
actually.
got? It's
I
called the PSA 10 Moon Breon. Can you pull that up? Goes for around 2,500. Hell yeah. Umbreon card.
Oh, I actually do
Umbreon
know
card.
this Pokemon.
Joe's like, I was busy catching hoes in middle school. Gotta catch them all. Pull this up. I want to see what it looks like. It kind of looks badass, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, what is it? Like a
It's
fox cat looking thing?
PSA 10 Moon Brown.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a rabbit.
Does it look like a rabbit? There, it does look like a rabbit.
Cat thing.
No, I think it's
But,
more
like,
of
the
like
idea
a
that-
Sphinx kind of resemblance. Like that's the kind of look they were going for. I
But
think.
this is crazy to me. Like people feel like they put a value on it, and that's what it is.
And it only goes up over
Crypto,
time.
dude.
It only goes up over time because
Fucking crypto.
you know what I would.
Well,
You know what I would. You know what I would
Imagine
recommend.
currency goes away and they start trading in Pokemon cards.
You know what I would recommend to like compare this to is vintage JDM cars. You know, for like, there's a point where vintage JDM cars, even the shitty ones, start to come up in price. Like fucking SI Civics, 240 SX, which is not shitty cars, but I'm saying like they're the lower models, right? That when I remember when a fucking 240 was $3,000. Like that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
you know,
not 25.
Not right now. You can't find a fucking beat up 240 for under $6,000-$7,000. Like it's insane how expensive they are.
Is collecting stamps still a thing? Because I know my uncle.
Dude, that's some
uncle did
that's
that
some
shit.
boomer shit.
Yeah,
That's some boomer shit. Stamps, bro.
That's the brain run up the boomer age.
Fuck.
but like I mean, do people still do that shit? That's the question, right?
No, probably, but really old people.
Weird ass people.
But like then what I'm trying to say with the JDM comparison is that you know how like for example they had the Honda Civic Type R. There was the what's that version? Spoon. You remember Spoon? They had that shit was famous in Fast and Furious or whatever. The Spoon version, right? Like it was always expensive, and then imagine now. You know, that's the same thing that happens with these, where it's like the basic ones are not really that sought after, and then there's a point in time where they start getting some popularity, and then there's like the really crazy ones like this fucking hollow card or whatever that's like already expensive off the get, and then you can wait more and more time, and it's just gonna get more and more and more and more expensive.
Hey, have you looked at your grandpa's collection? Like, is it like something specific? Like, has he gotten some cool shit that he's collecting? But Logan Paul, I can't believe his shit cost $5 million. That's fucking insane for a card. You know what I mean?
And I think he bought it for like $250,000.
150.
150 is what he paid.
That's what the thing said.
Yeah. So he's up.
Yeah.
Hella.
Well, that shit happened to the. So in Ocala, there was.
He has it on a chain. You
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that?
yeah.
He has it like
Mickey had it
encased
pulled up. Yeah, I
in a
looked at it.
chain. Yeah. You see
So-
it, baby?
Something similar happened to this horse in Ocala, right? We're super close to Ocala.
Yeah, Ocala's horse land. Like you
Yeah.
got $1 million horses out in Ocala.
So they got this horse for 100K, and then they
Uh-huh.
trained it, and he ended up beating Kentucky Derby. And the price of the horse
millions
went
of
to
dollars now. Yeah.
50 million or something
Damn!
ridiculous.
50.
Yeah, some ridiculous. And went in an auction that year that he beat. Somebody came and just literally scooped up the horse. Because majority of the time, what will happen is this big right now. People are investing to like bull semen and like horse semen and things like that. That becomes an investment, right? They're parking their money in that.
It becomes a write-off is what it becomes.
Well, no, they're parking their money in it because like the insemination of
Yeah, they
other
look at it as
yeah,
a
yeah.
long-term investment to actually like breed.
Yeah. But
you know,
like
high
went
value
from
cows
100. Can
and
you imagine like
horses and
100,000?
stuff.
You train the horse, beats the fucking Kentucky Derby, and now it's $50 million. Like you're sitting on a pile of gold out of nowhere. With stamps, it's less value and more historical. Like some of these stamps date back to World War One. I got you.
Damn.
Yeah, that's big time. That'd be cool though. Like, but how do you bring the relevancy back, right? Like, how do you make this a new thing with the newer generation, right? Because half of the younger generation don't even know
We
what
got
stamps
NFTs.
are, right?
We got NFTs now.
Yeah, NFTs now. Yeah, like the fucking monkeys, right? But it's cool though, you know, like these stamps meant something, you know what I mean? Back in the day, like if you didn't have one of these, your loved ones did not get a fucking letter from you, and now suddenly you're proclaimed as dead.
And the stamps used to be a big part of the military funding back then too.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember we learned that in school.
What's the price of stamps right now? I think they're like close to $1 right now, aren't they?
Current stamps?
Mm-hmm. The thing is, the newer generation is so cooked, they wouldn't care about that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know if they're necessarily cooked. I don't think it's like, it's not relevant anymore. You
Yeah,
know?
I was about to say, I think trends always roll, right? Like, they
Yeah.
just continue to move on, right? Like, there's going to be a day and time, I think, where the whole watch thing is going to be done.
Shit's been going on for way too
Yeah,
long,
it's
but-
been going on way too long. It's
No,
been
I
going
think
on
it'll be
longer
done.
than cars.
I get it, but I think it'll be done eventually.
But see, like, I don't see classic cars ever going anywhere. Like the Chevelles and things like that. I don't think they're like the Mustangs, old school Mustangs. I don't
also
see them going anywhere.
I also don't see time going away.
Time, yeah.
Well, no,
Like
time's not
measuring
going
time.
anywhere, but
Other than it going away from you.
I don't know. I could see things like that. There's going to be little by little certain things like watches and certain kinds of collecting that we just don't see anymore and care for. You know, like eventually it just phases
But
out.
I think watches is gonna stay. The reason watches are gonna stay, because yes, we have gotten a little more liberal where men can wear jewelry, but the watch is always gonna be considered as the staple jewelry piece on a man's, part of men's repertoire.
I don't think the world looks at it like that anymore.
They do. They still do.
I don't think so.
They still do.
I don't think I like the majority of the world. Like when I think what you're trying to compare it to is like when an executive walks into a boardroom, right?
Well, no, not
What
necessarily.
I'm trying to look at it as like, because right now people care a lot more about having like flashy chains and stuff like that than a flashy watch.
No flashy chains with a flashy watch. The watch is part of the gig.
I think more the guys. I think the majority of the generation now cares more for like jewelry, like watches and rings and stuff like
Well,
that.
no, what I'm saying is the young generation doesn't care about the classic look of the watch. They'll flash them up, right? Like they'll put diamonds on it to make him bling out. But it's still the watch that they've somehow edited, right? And it's still
Still though,
relevant.
like for example, I was actually talking to this my when I went with I was
my favorite car is a 1990 Honda NSX. I've driven a couple of those.
That's an amazing pick. I mean, that's like you can't. There's not many cars that can beat that pick.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Is it 1990? That's still pop up headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in what year was it?
2000, I think already.
98,
Like
2000. That's
late
when they
90s,
made the
early
flat,
2000s when they made the fixed. I like them both.
Yeah.
I think they both look badass.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice car. But see, we're talking about 1990s, NSX. But like, pull up 1960s two-door Mercedes. These are the cars. These are the cars that like. These are the cars.
The car model you can look up, very iconic, is the SLS. It was like the first Gull Wing Mercedes.
Yeah. Like, these cars go for millions and millions of dollars. Do you think these
car.
are ever gonna go out of? No, they never will go out of
the SL and the SLS. Oh my god!
Yeah, they'll never go out of the
car. Look at that shit, man. Look at that shit.
They will never go out of history. People are gonna continue keeping.
And the funny part is they still make the SLS. Look, they did up until like 2018. I don't think they'd make a current SLS.
Not anymore.
But they did up until.
Yeah, they did recently. Yeah. Well, see this car, like it's never gonna go out of style. Like the people are still gonna collect this and park their money on this, right? It's similar with watches, man. People that park, there's too much money involved in watches.
What I was trying to say though is
for them to lose value.
For example, my boss's dad. I remember I had a conversation with him about how, he was wearing an Omega the day I met him, and I complimented him on his watch, and we started talking about that, and he's like, "Oh, you're into watches? That's funny. I know not a lot of young people are into watches. Like, for example, my son, he likes jewelry, but he doesn't like watches. He like chains and stuff like that. I know a lot of people like that, my friends, and Miguel's one of those people. He doesn't really wear a watch. He wears his chains though. He even wears rings. I think you have some bracelets, don't you,
Miggy? If you had, let's say,
he's wearing a bracelet right now. You got that recently, didn't you?
No, my gold bracelet.
Yeah.
I don't.
See,
I'm not gonna take this off.
but that's what I'm saying. You don't take that off. You don't take your necklaces off. For guys like nowadays in the newer generation, that's more known than the guy to be wearing a watch every day.
See, here's the thing:
an Apple Watch doesn't count.
Although I do agree with your statements, I do disagree in that it is still a fucking piece. It is a fucking statement in the
today.
Yes.
Today, what I'm trying to say is I think it's slowly gonna phase out.
Because
of the trends of.
It's been around too long.
Bro, the watch has been around since fucking 1800s.
I know.
Over 300. They're damn near as old as the United States.
Who was it?
Briquet. Briquet. I think it was Briquet that made the very first watch.
First wristwatch. It was commissioned for one of the fucking. Like the
queens and
queen.
shit.
It was the
some
queen.
Stupid
the
shit
queen
like
of
that,
England or some shit.
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so talking about Miggy, right? Like Miggy, if right now money wasn't an option, he would have a watch on his hand.
If money wasn't an option, I would have it. I do have watches on my hand.
No. I'm saying if money wasn't an option, you could get the watch of your dreams. You would have the watch.
Yeah. Why not?
Would you be wearing it every day?
No, I only wear it to
No, so
there you go.
Depends.
This is what I mean.
Depends
what. Wear it to special occasions.
It depends what you call. It depends what type of watches you're talking about. Some watches do come in, because I'm answering the question. Some watches do come in as a fashion type of deal. They kind of go up and down, but there are staple watches that will always keep their value.
Okay, so let me pivot in the sense where there are staple watches that will always cost more than retail.
Yes.
But they all shift in price.
They do.
Meaning, are you wearing your Rolex today?
Yeah.
That watch, for example, had changed in price over 25% between pre-COVID when watches were mad expensive to now. Has dropped over 25%. I think it's probably over that. An Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, the most that in a Patek
sport watch.
That and a Patek are the most notorious sport watches of all time.
Yeah.
Right. Even those watches saw a massive depreciation when the watch market shifted. It's like
in 2008 in 2008 when the fucking economy was doing really bad, you could pick up a Nautilus for like $15,000.
Yeah.
A brand new Nautilus for $15,000. Right now, good luck finding one that is under $60,000.
Yeah. Well, actually, not anymore because the watch market is down like crazy right now. You can buy APs and stuff like that for $40,000-$50,000.
Yeah. Which is almost their retail, but it's still a little over retail.
It's still over retail, and they're always going to be over retail for the reason being is that you try and go and buy one from Patek and you're going to wait. Yeah. Your grandkid's going to get that watch. You know?
Yeah, but if we're talking about like Paul Newman's, which is like the Daytona Rolex from back in the day.
Yeah, you're right. That is, but that's something like
it's very iconic.
What's the Mustang that's iconic? What's her name?
Eleanor.
That doesn't matter what
Shelby
the car.
Mustang.
Yeah, that doesn't matter what the car market does.
Yeah,
that shit's gonna stay there.
Continue, yeah.
But that's like a single watch.
Correct.
Or
That's
a
what I'm saying.
single car.
So just like with Pokemon cards or stamps or whatever it is, there most of the watches will not make it, but you're still gonna have those staples that are gonna be considered like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, some of them are gonna go out of commission, or people will still have them and they'll say, okay, I have this, and then the other guy's gonna say, but look at this. You know what I mean? They're still gonna compare.
It's funny because I wear a gold watch everywhere, but when someone asks me the time, I check my cell. LOL. I only wear it to go with the fit.
So here's the thing about watches, right? There's two ways to purchase a watch. One way to purchase a watch because you like watches, and in this case you get the watch that you want. And the second way is to buy the watches if you're trying to impress people. If you're trying to impress people, then again you got to buy those expensive watches. But if you're trying to impress women specifically, just get a gold watch. Literally a gold watch. As long as it's a gold watch, girls love, for whatever reason, they like the color of gold on a wrist, right? So it could be a cheap watch. It could be $100 gold watch.
What is the cheapest decent Rolex imitation?
Cheapest decent Rolex imitation?
I'm gonna go Seiko 5, old Seiko 5.
Rolex imitation. Mm-hmm. I don't like
something that, a lot of people will see a gold watch, and as long as it's got, oyster style bracelet, very basic, nothing crazy standing out, and let's say a Roman numeral dial, and it's gold, a lot of people will look at it and go, oh, that's a Rolex from far away.
I see what you're saying.
Right? And not knowing the difference, right? So what's the cheapest Rolex imitation you think for like a gold watch? I would say an old Seiko, like one of the older generation Seiko 5s. That's going to be cheap.
The rapper who he's referring to is Central C.
Central C, he iced out a G-Shock, and now everyone is icing
out
G-Shock.
He's a partner of
ready?
G-Shock, and he basically iced out a G-Shock.
You want to know something,
iced
Mickey?
out one of those
I
metal
actually would say you're wrong. It wasn't Central C. I think the G-Shock trend came from Pharrell.
Just wearing G-Shocks to begin with. Yeah,
and he still does. Yeah,
so he iced out a metal G-Shock. Yeah. It can be the plastic one. These are about $500 plus minus, depending on which model you're looking at.
The metal ones, yeah.
Yeah, they're about $500. And the reason he iced out this specific one, I don't
even think he actually iced it out. I think he just has like, so Pharrell has a bunch of G-Shock collabs.
Well, the reason this watch is coming up, because this watch is an homage to an Audemars Piaget.
Yeah.
That's the reason that this watch, not this one. Yeah, the
Piaget is a whole different brand.
Yes. Yeah, but they did an homage to
Piaget is another nice brand. Piaget is very nice.
Yeah, they did an homage to that watch. That's why this watch became so popular
very
quickly.
Popular.
It's a terrible watch. I own one of the cheap ones. It's a terrible watch to have on your wrist. Like, you can't, like, the numbers are very small. You kind of have to look at the face. The light, it's not a backlit, so the light basically doesn't do shit.
I hate those G-Shocks that have the light that just, it's like on the corner.
Yeah,
on
that's
the bottom,
what it is.
Shines over.
Yeah.
It's not actually backlit. That shit sucks.
That shit sucks. Yeah, that's the watch itself is not a very good put together G-Shock, but the reason it's so popular is because
of that hexagonal bezel.
Bezel. Mm-hmm. That's literally what it is.
Jacob and Co. I think did one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did.
With G-Shock.
Yeah. Well, Jacob and Co. has been involved in this whole thing since day one. Like, look, even Jacob and Co.
Kid Cudi iced out a custom G-Shock.
Yeah, even Jacob and Co. has switched to like making jewelry and stuff like that, but he never kept watches out of the repertoire. You know what I mean?
That's actually kind of fucking clean.
I don't like it.
I do.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of G-Shocks. I like.
I mean, I don't like it, but I think it looks clean.
I like Casio, not G-Shock. The reason I'll say that is every G-Shock is just too big. Even the Royal Oak imitation, it's kind of big.
I like it. I like bigger watches.
No, I like
not
small.
Too big.
I like
40,
small
42
watches.
is where
I
I'm
like
at.
small. Like if anything over 40, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want anything over 40.
Those when I put on my hand, like, remember I told you I went to see that two-door, the new one.
Mm.
I put it on my hand and I had the real one on the bigger one on my. I was like, damn, this looks small.
Yeah. Well, you're going from 41.5 to 38.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks small. Like it looked hella small.
Well, that's a decent jump.
Yeah.
You know what watch I really want to see in person is that the Vacheron, the 222, because it comes in a 37 millimeter is what it is. So just look up VC 222. This is my dream watch. They actually just came out with a new steel version. That steel with the blue dial, it just released.
It's a clean watch. I'm not
It's
gonna lie.
an amazing watch.
I would want.
The one thing that I like about this watch is the band looks like fucking dragon scales.
It's sick. And it's like
Yeah, Bugatti watch is pretty cool. Yes, you're right. There's a whole
Jacob
engine.
Code.
But if you like those kind of watches, look up Hublot's Ferrari watch. It's very similar. They give you this little. It's almost like a handheld drill that you would use like as a screwdriver. They give you one of those things to charge the watch. So you basically have that to charge it. Yeah, that's the Hublot's Ferrari watch, and it comes. Can you pull up see that the little drill that comes along with it? You use that to spin the
to charge it,
yeah, not charge it,
but give it to wind it.
to wind
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So it so
That little
there's that
yeah.
little thing. You literally connect that to the watch to wind it, which is kind of I thought it's kind of cool because like the whole thing looks kind of like very Ferrari-ish. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So. Like there are some
Coolest
unique,
coolest
definitely unique
watch
watches.
brand.
MBNF.
MBNF. For
MBNF.
sure. MBNF.
It's the most unique, and he created that style of watches.
and everyone's imitating it now.
Yep. Even this Hublot Ferrari watch is MBNF, and everyone is going after that type of So MBNF is
That's a cock.
It is a cock,
that is a penis, yes.
but it's 400.
But that's a driver's watch. You know what's that's a driver's
because it
watch?
sits like
Yeah.
looking directly at
Yeah.
you when it's
Yep.
you know.
And this is cock and balls right here.
That's a chode.
Yeah.
It's just a little
I was
chode.
just gonna say it's boobs and belly, but sure, guys. go
That's a
that
cool one. That one actually looks like a spaceship.
route.
Something straight out of fucking Star Wars. Yeah, MBNF is expensive. Moser also makes some cool shit.
Moser and CA,
Mm-hmm.
they do, but it's not MBNF level.
No, not MBNF level, but it's their own thing. Like it's
you know
not
what? Gerard
Gerard Perregaux.
Yeah, he makes fucking crazy looking watches, and that's considered like the high horology. Like that one is placed even above Patek Philippe, like that. The very first one, not the second one, but the first one. Yeah, that's one of the high horology, and then there's another one. I forget the name, but anyway, very similar.
Now, if you wanted a watch that you thought was,
Grobel 4C.
if you wanted a watch
Can you
that
pull that up? Grobel 4C.
would make it look like it costs $500K but cost $10K, you know what brand you would pick? I know what brand I'd pick.
Say it again. Yeah, that right there.
A watch that costs
See,
$10,000.
This is considered one of the most unique, not unique, but one of the most what's the word? I'm looking
Complicated?
for? No, not complicated. The word I'm looking for, the one that people like sought after, exclusive brands out there, watchmaking brands out there. Not this one. Go back. Grobel 4C, just not Gerard Perregaux, because you have both in there. Remove that. Grobel 4C or something like that. Yeah, there you go. This is considered very exclusive brand. Yeah, you don't just get.
So if
these
you
watches.
wanted something that almost started to give you the imitation of one of these brands of watches that cost, $300, $400,
It's a
$500
Unimatic or some shit like that.
$1,000, right? Could you think of a brand that kind of starts to imitate this feel for $10,000?
We've looked at them. I forget the name.
How about I give
They're
you a
like in
better
$2,000
one.
or $3,000.
I give you a better one. How about one that doesn't cost anything? Your imagination.
Or the one that was passed down to you by generations.
You're gonna be waiting a long time for that one.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Oh,
right?
my watch that my grandpa passed to me actually broke.
It did.
Yeah, it's not keeping time accurately. It just randomly stops and then
Keep it.
starts. Yeah, I just have it in the watch box.
Yeah, that's that. I have my grandpa's watch.
I'm thinking of getting. I want to get because you can buy them. They're not expensive. It's not an expensive watch from the '90s. You can buy them brand new, almost for not brand new, but in good condition for like $60.
And just replacing the mechanism.
I was thinking of replacing the movement because I like his case, like the use it has.
Yeah,
to it.
yeah,
It
the
broke.
patina and
All
that
of the shit
yeah.
it has fucked up. But at the same time, I almost want to keep that one, never mess it up, and then maybe just wear the new one. Like,
I'd say just keep it. Don't even get the other one. Just keep it. It's just gonna into content creation for my brand. Do you guys have any tips? Yeah. So biggest thing with content creation is you gotta crank out a lot of reels, and you have to be able to catch people's attention within the first 2 seconds, 3 seconds max. That's the best time you have, and usually
biggest thing is consistency.
Yeah, biggest thing is consistency. If you can pump out content, a lot of it, like upwards of 30, 40, or even 150 throughout the platforms, all the platforms, basically, you have 30 pieces of content a week, and you pump it through 5 different platforms.
And I think when you're starting off, and this is a mistake that I think we made, is maybe you should try a niche.
Yeah, definitely. You have to go into a niche. You can't just be everywhere, because then you're not going to be looked at as...
You can't... You attract a lot of people, but you don't get them to stick.
Yeah, you don't retain them, because your content constantly changes and doesn't keep them engaged, right? Now, but here's the thing.
Today is a very bad example of that, by the way. We've jumped from JFK to watches to Pokemon. We do a very bad job at this. I'm telling you, we do. Like, and that's just something, that...
I have an idea.
But then again, we talk about what we want to talk about. Like, we're not chasing the fucking... We're not chasing the views.
We enjoy this. That's why. It's different.
Yeah. But the thing is, you got to find a niche. And then remember, that niche better be something that you like. Because if you don't like it, you're going to have to consistently pump the same stuff. And then at one point, you're going to get tired of it and not going to want to do it, right? So if you're going to do it, better be a niche about something, specifically if it's your brand. And you got to talk about what gap it fills, right? Like if there's a hole and that's why you bring in your brand, and what does it take care of? You know what I mean? So how do you assisting people?
What were you going to say, Miggy?
Oh, I have an idea on how to fix that. Before the podcast, we basically get together, right? Real quick. Think of one word, just one word, one topic, and we stick to that topic for that episode. And sure, we're gonna deviate. We're gonna have stories. We're gonna have things that come up, but we're always gonna go back to that same thing.
So he's talking about subscription based type of service.
Yeah. What is your brand? If you could give us a little more information on that.
We'll pull it up and look at it, and maybe we can give some positive criticism on a brand. I'm sure you have an Instagram page if you drop the link. Now, 1,000 people that are consistently going to buy, it's one of those things that it takes about 17 points of contact for somebody to buy anything, right? So you have to be constantly in people's faces.
That's the math, yep.
Yeah. So you got to be constantly in people's faces. And number 2, you have to really solve a problem for people, which is usually by saving time or by saving time, right? Like that's what it has to be. So whatever product you're pumping out, it has to be... Convenience. And then a lot of times you can give them freemium.
You're selling a solution.
And then freemium and then the premium version of it, the one that they would subscribe for, is like it would increase the joy of them paying for it by like 10,000 fold. Pokemon sealed products, so physical products, not services. Okay, so that's big. The biggest stuff that I see that's working is people buying these in bulk and just literally open it in front of the camera and putting it on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, those TikTok lives are doing a big thing right now.
Those seem to go viral. Or you can create a
Jay, you're a victim to that.
Yeah.
Emily's a victim to that. I mean, I know a lot of people.
No, people watching
TikTok,
the live,
watching the TikTok shop lives and buying stuff off of there.
Yeah,
a lot of people do that.
Yeah, because you never know what card you're gonna open on a live and who's gonna need that or want that. So you might end up actually
and at the beginning,
right on the spot.
At the beginning, probably the best way to, I mean, I don't know, we have no idea, we don't know nothing about Pokemon cards, we don't do this ourselves, but I would think, in the beginning, you would probably have to push out as much of the high profile cards for a pretty low price.
That could happen too, but I think,
and then And then after that, you can start selling the lower profile cards for normal, and
So the daily shit that you do, basically, if you buying cases of Pokemon cards and you opening them up and then sealing them, if you're doing that, film that. Literally film that. Go either live or put it up. I say go live so you can engage with the chat. So as you got to get really good at engaging with the chat and at the same time opening the cards and just kind of talking about it. And
Run
then
it.
you can put out the reels, meaning like, can't believe what I found,
If it's not live, you could also make it really engaging by making high quality videos.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which can be
Apple's clip is huge
either
on it.
very time consuming for you to edit them,
Yes.
or you can pay somebody else to do it.
Which is
More
our
expensive.
thing.
But if you have the money to do it, it can definitely help.
You could also think
Hit us
about.
up, by the way.
You could also thinking about running in like a gas scheme in the sense where gas stations don't make money off gas. They make money off all the shit they sell inside most of the time, right? They make a very, very, very small margin on gas. So what I'm trying to say by just saying this is, you open a pack with a fucking, I don't know, whatever the equivalent to a Charizard would have been back then, and you purposely sell it for cheap. What that can do is bring a lot of people to you, and then all the other cards you sell for you bang out as many of the lower end cards as possible.
Yeah.
And you make a lot
So
of your
let
money
me
that
let me
way.
give you some game on this. What Eddie's talking about. Let's talk about Louis Vuitton as a brand, right? Louis Vuitton does their profit margin on their purses versus their wallets and belts is astronomically different.
Mm-hmm.
On a purses, it'll take them, let's say, $1,000, $1,500 to make the purse, whether it's buying the leather, paying the person that's going to put the purse together, so on and so forth, and they'll sell it for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, which is 5, 6, 7 times what they originally spent. But then they'll sell their wallets at $400, but they only cost them $20 to make. So their profit margin on their wallets is much higher. So what Eddie's saying is
That's
basically,
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, get a higher level card, sell them for cheaper, but then make your money on the back end by selling the less known cards were more expensive. Still have to be beating the market, but it's still going to be, the profit margin is going to be a lot more. And on this case, what you asked, giveaways are a good way to get more subscribers. That can go in there for the giveaways. Remember,
They don't retain like attention or people constantly buying back from you.
yeah, they don't constantly buy back from you, but that
The
might
one
create,
person that won it might come back, but other people won't.
but that might create opportunities for you to make money other ways, not necessarily being subscribers, right? Like, you never know where this is going to take you. So it's kind of, we're all into jiu-jitsu, right? And when you're practicing jiu-jitsu, you don't force something on a person, you take what they give you, right? So you kind of have to see where your market is at and where is your niche and who are your viewers and what they want, and you constantly supply
Unless
that.
your name is Corey Mogenberg, then he forces you.
Yeah, then he forces you, yeah.
Another thing that can help you is like something unique to your business. Like everybody nowadays selling Pokemon physical cards without opening them or whatever.
Mhm.
Pretty much exactly what you said. But what makes you special? Like, are you giving me something of value? Are you including something else different? Maybe like a sticker of yours. People like a sticker, something different.
Or just being
You can-
contradictory, man. Remember, bad attention is attention,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
no
how
publicity is bad publicity. kind
yeah,
of thing.
that's how Kardashians became who they are today,
Yeah,
right?
I always say that as long as you can take it.
Yeah.
As long as you can take it.
And you could even do like a giveaway style. Like, you can do a giveaway and make money from it. You don't have to just do a random giveaway. Like, oh guys, follow my thing and I'm going to put you guys into a giveaway. You could do it like this. Let's say you have a high profile card that you want to give away. You start a stream up on TikTok. And at the beginning of the stream, you don't do it at the beginning. You constantly remind people, right? Because there's going to be people coming in and out of the stream as it goes on. But you remind people during that stream that, hey guys, I have this PSA 10 Moonborn that you mentioned, right? I'm gonna be giving this away at the end of the stream. The way to get into this giveaway is I'm gonna be selling a bunch of other lower end cards, like whatever, $2, $3, $4, $5 cards. I'm talking about like bullshit cards, like literally things that cost less than $10, right? And you get these people to engage by not only purchasing your stuff, but they're gonna purchase it and then stick around to see if they won.
Yeah. And then
Right.
that's what's going to happen. They'll end up buying Here's a problem with email lists. Email lists don't really work because emails have gotten really, really good, and they'll detect the spam and they'll get rid of you. You'll
Instantly,
go
yeah.
to the junk and you'll never see your email.
When's the last time you
Trust
see
me
your,
when I say
your
this.
spam? Like,
I've played with this a little bit and it doesn't really work, right? But what Eddie mentioned right now does work. So by selling them like the $5, $6, $10 cards, and by saying each card is a ticket, right? Each card is a ticket for the givey. That's what's gonna. So somebody will come in and spend, let's say, $100 and get 20 cards that are basically garbage, right? And you don't care whether you have them or no. You send them those cards, whatever. They get their $100 cards. Most of the time, they're probably gonna even contact you and say, "I don't even need those cards. Don't even send them to me," right? Whatever. It's not the point. The point is, by somebody spending $100 and another person spending another $100, another person spending $200, you might end up making up for that card. And at the end of the day, remember, yeah, you might lose some money on a front end by selling a very expensive card for cheaper. But at the end of the day, you pulled it out of the pack. That only cost you $13, $14, $20, right? So you kind of have to look at it that way as a business, right? You can't really, because you don't have a crystal ball. You don't know. Hindsight is always 2020. You can always tell what happened yesterday, but you cannot tell what's going to happen tomorrow. So you don't know which one of the cards is going to take off. So while you're at it, make your money while you can. Take the money grab, and you can't dwell on something. It's like, man, I wish I kept that Charizard because right now it'd be $100,000. Like, you can't. Like, if we knew that that's possible, if you could predict the future, that's one story. I'd say just get your money right now, because down the road, when you do have money for this, you can buy that card back, and now you have that $100,000 card in your possession, right? So what Eddie said is it makes sense. There's another way to do it, but you have to consult a lawyer on this one, because of your state, right? Your state laws will go in and make it as a gambling thing, where it's like, okay, I'm selling 30,000 tickets for this specific card. For like that card that you have is $2,500. I'm selling 2,500 $1 tickets, and whoever buys these tickets will win this card, right? You can go that route, but you have to consult a lawyer to see, because it's considered gambling, right? So you have to go that route.
so when you go on, like, for example, you ever heard of 8080? 8080 is this big brand. They've done car stuff, and ever since social media came around, they were one of the first ones doing giveaways, right? And they sell merchandise, so it's like just clothing, like shirts, hats, and stuff like that. And they give away, a freaking 2,000 horsepower Lamborghini plus 50K, And I've never seen anything like of them saying like, oh, only select participating states.
Well, no, because the way they have their things set up, they don't have to say that, right? It's within the state that you are, within the LLC that you create within that state. Each state has their own gambling rules, right? So those gambling rules apply. Yeah. So if you open the company in a different state, that means the car has to be registered at that different state. So you have to work around that. It's definitely possible, but you have to understand the laws and regulations, how they work within your specific state, right? Otherwise, you're getting in a lot of trouble.
With the whole live things, you're not going to be able to just... First, TikTok, you have to have a certain amount of followers and all that stuff.
Yeah, so you can't go live until you have 5,000 followers, right? So
it's 5,000 now?
5,000 followers.
Only 1,000.
Yeah. No, it's 5,000 followers to go live. But to get followers on TikTok is much easier than on Instagram.
Else.
Because on TikTok, you get a lot of bot followers, right? Which will allow you to go live.
Yeah.
Right? Which is not necessarily good or a bad thing.
But you can go about like maybe building the content in two ways. Like Miguel said, you could maybe even like make some high quality videos of you going out and
that's what he's gonna have to do
buying cards and opening up the packs and all that stuff, or just straight up streaming that and then gaining your followers that way. But you're not gonna be able to stream off TikTok right away. You're gonna have to resort to streaming on Twitch or streaming on YouTube first to build your TikTok page.
Yep.
Which I would recommend probably just making clips first on TikTok directly to get your TikTok rolling as fast as possible.
And then you siphon people down to your YouTube, which YouTube is probably one of the ones that pays the most.
Yeah.
Siphon them to YouTube, siphon them to Rumble, siphon them to Twitch. Twitch is fucking weird, right?
My only thing is, though, is like YouTube doesn't have like the whole bidding system like TikTok does.
No, they don't.
So that's very useful.
But YouTube, because he's into cards, he's into gaming cards, you have to see where is your majority of your demographic. Majority of his demographic are going to be most likely dudes, and that's going to be YouTube. TikTok is very female geared towards. Instagram is right in the middle. Facebook is for the boomers, and then you have YouTube is for the dudes mainly, right? Rumble is for all the other people, right? So for editing, that can be done very easily. It's called Opus Clip. I think it's like $100 subscription. You get 3,600 minutes, and basically you upload a video in there and then chops it up for you, gives you the clip and everything. Right? You
So
might need to do some editing on that end, but
I'll
it's very
I'll
easy.
say this, from someone that works literally editing. So Opus Clip does a good job for what it is. You're getting a product like this, but it will never. It not never. I won't say never, but it right now it does not compare to the
Actual
editing
somebody.
quality that an actual person that knows what they're doing can put into it.
Yeah, but
Right.
but he's just starting, right? For him, is the idea is just to pump out interesting content. It doesn't have like how many times I see like complete artards on Instagram with like 40, 50,000 followers that are like doing yes, Opus Clip.
Opus, Mickey's gonna put it in the chat
yeah.
for you.
So artards just
Yeah.
doing like just random like front rolls and shit like that, and they're calling parkour, and they have 50,000 followers, right? Like, and their clips are dog shit, right? Like, it's, you just gotta provide
So,
value. Unfortunately, as a
ready?
dude, you're gonna have to provide value. You can't show tits and ass and get
So
followers.
it's all about the end of the day entertainment.
Yeah,
You need to find a way to entertain. So, like what he's saying in his sense is the content itself, without any editing necessary, is entertaining, right? You've got somebody doing whatever the hell he was talking about, right? Or good quality stuff is entertaining. Meaning, if you can be creative and know how to put together a video, bro, like I'm talking about like the most basic stuff, but you add some creativity and put some high quality work into it, and it can be just as entertaining as the something that's naturally entertaining. You can make it. You can make it be entertaining by putting the work into it and understanding the creativity behind
it
it.
can't be one trick pony, right? The minute you do it and start blowing up, people are gonna copy it. So you need to employ the Gorilla Glass best salesman technique, and this is how it goes. The story goes that Gorilla Glass hired this guy, and this guy was beating everyone in sales, beating literally everyone in sales. So they brought him to the boardroom and said, "Hey, what are you doing? We need to teach all the other salesmen to do the same thing, so they're selling the product." He said, "Oh, it's very easy. When I take the Gorilla Glass to a person to demonstrate, I take a hammer and I hit it. When I hit it, it doesn't shatter, and people automatically buy it, right?" Everybody started doing that, but this guy wasn't an idiot, right? He was still outselling everybody. It's like, bro, you just told us how to do. They're selling really well, but you're still outselling them. What are you doing different? He goes, well, now when I go to them, I give them the hammer and tell them to hit the glass, right? So he always had something in his back pocket
To stay ahead of the curve.
to stay ahead of the curve. So you have to stay ahead of the curve. You always have to invent and reinvent your actual content because people will be copying you, right? Right now, the biggest way of people doing reels, and it's becoming more popular right now, is crazy animation, or by saying your last thought first to engage the people. That's the first 3 seconds, and then going into the video.
Yeah.
Meaning you're giving them the final result, and then
That's a trend that's been going on for a while. I mean, you see a lot of Instagram Reels and TikToks, the way they're set up is it literally plays the last 3 seconds of the reel first, right? And then it continues on. And because of the loop effect of how, the reels work, it loops right in and it matches the video. And it's not only a really good way to get them to watch the whole video, you can get someone to watch the same video multiple times by doing that.
Yep.
Right? There's a lot of good things, a lot of different
if you got
approaches.
a girl or you got a super hot girlfriend or somebody like that, have them literally, I'm telling you, put a bikini on, cut the face out, and just have them open the cars, bro. That's gonna give you so many followers you don't even know.
Don't do
I
that.
mean, we don't condone this, but if you want the followers, this is gonna get you
It
followers,
sounds like you condone this. You're giving the idea out.
bro. He wants followers, right?
I don't condone this. I don't condone these activities. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up today. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's a good pod. I like it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Fennec, I don't know what your real name is, but appreciate you coming in, and we enjoyed answering your questions and giving you all your advice. Thank you again. And anyone else in the chat that joined us today, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.